Cycles of motion are an integral part of animation, whether it be by hand, by computer, or software. In deciding how any given character functions and moves throughout a scene, one would need to create a fluid set of keyframes indicating that character's shift from location A to location B. Depending on the type of conflicts occurring, the director must also choose to have them walk, jog, run, or even different combinations of the three. Anyways, to start, we want to find the character rig which we will be working with. I happen to have an old model from when I used to make my own, so that's what I'll be using. It doesn't matter what you use as long as it has functional arms, legs, and a back. After we import the rig into our software, we want to click on the Object, then Plane, in order to create a floor for our animated person to run on top of. Feel free to increase the width and height to whatever you feel is good. In order to keep this from interfering from keyframing, make a new layer for that object and then lock it. Now for starting the actual cycle. Pose the character in whatever initial starting position you would like to have the character be in. Make sure you have auto keying enabled for this, or else you may accidentally move the character and it will never actually save your edits. Once you have that done, designate a number of keyframes to represent one full cycle of running, i.e. the character's legs and arms will go back to where they started. Don't worry about making the frame rate look smooth, we can change it back to 60 FPS once we finish the actual animation. For this example, I'm going to use 40 frames as a whole cycle. This will make it easier to mediate between keyframes and time the different motions of the character's body. First, keyframe the body of the character to bob up and down from its starting position, resetting its cycle every 20 frames. Next, the leg which was originally in front of the other should end up kicking behind the character at frame 20, then end up in the same position by frame 40. To make things look more realistic, a keyframe should be added for each foot when it hits the front of the ground, making it slide along the floor, giving the animation the fall solution of movement. Once you are happy with your legs, you can move on to the arm movement. This is essentially the same concept. The arm in front should always be opposite the leg in front. It's how humans run, don't question it. Just as we did for the legs, the arm should follow closely with similar timing, tracing the leg which it is in contrast with. Now we can animate the back controller to truly sell the feeling that the character is jumping and landing upon each step. Starting with our initial point of reference, we want to move the keyframe just before the character's first step hits the ground. This will be the frame in which we rotate the back upwards. Go around 3 to 5 frames after this and rekey it to what you started with. So if you rotate it with 25 degrees, rotate it back 25 degrees. And now for the head, simply keyframe it to try to stabilize its movements whenever the back moves. This is a stage in which the majority of the animation should be finished. If a part of the movement looks a bit off, just go back and fix it before moving on. Next, select the entire character rig through its main controller and move it forward in whatever direction your character is running. I'm going to move it forward in increments of 200 units. Feel free to mess around with and set it to whatever you want, doesn't matter. If we were to render this animation as of now, we would probably discover that the running animation looks slow for somebody running. Now that we have finished keyframing, we can alleviate this problem. Select all the parts of your character which you have keyframed and look down at your timeline. Drag and select all of your keyframes and compress them down to a mere 20 frames or so. Play it back. Much nicer, isn't it? Of course, this animation is only a single run cycle, so there isn't much substance to it. If you would like, you can duplicate the frames and continue to expand your character's animation, or also just do it by hand. Since this is only a tutorial, I'm just going to stick with duplicating the frames and repeating the cycle, but feel free to do as you please. In order to export your created frames, go click on the Camera Render Settings button, or shortcut Ctrl-B. Under the Renderer drop-down menu, select Hardware OpenGL. Customize the settings, select the correct range of frames, change the frame rate to 60 FPS if wanted, edit the output location, and enhance the look of your project by enabling post-processing properties under the Hardware OpenGL tab. Go back to your viewport by exiting the window. Now turn off the spline controllers for your rig when you export by selecting Filter and then Splines. Locate and select Render to Picture Viewer, or shortcut Shift-R. Congratulations, you have just rendered your first video once it has completed. This video by no means will be a final product. For clarification, It will simply provide a clean, work-in-progress snippet of your work. Now that you have the tools and materials to create your own run cycle animation, I wish you luck in creating your own animations. Furthermore, feel free to send me and link me your progress. I would actually love to see what you guys come up with in light of this. If you want to learn how to properly light a scene or export your project, you can always visit some of my previously crafted videos below. Hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, thanks for watching.